The beauty of building your own home is the ability to craft a space that's perfect for you. And that's exactly the case with this next incredible place here in Adelaide, where 2 semi-truck trailers have been wonderfully converted into an amazing home. Hey Heidi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm great. Nice to meet you, Bryce.
It's lovely to meet you. G'day Mike, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, great to meet you.
And this is just such a cool setup that you've got here.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, it's a bit unusual. I'm sure you haven't come across too many semi-trailer houses in your travels, I'm sure.
I certainly have not. Can you tell me how all of this came to be?
We'd been thinking about tiny houses for a while and joined the local tiny house network. Went to an open day and someone was building in a semi-trailer and we were like, oh, this could be doable. Quite long and tall and maybe we don't have to have a his and a hers. So yeah, I was quite excited about it.
Yeah. I was going to be building the house myself for the first time, not a builder. Very inexperienced when it came to this kind of thing. And when the guy that was sort of selling us on the idea said, look, you just literally have to cut out spaces for windows and doors, and it's so much easier than framing in a new house. I was like, okay, yeah, no, that definitely makes it more doable. So,
and I guess the other advantage to building it out like this is you don't have the same weight restrictions, do you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a huge part of it actually. The dry weight of this thing is 13 tons. So, compared to a normal tiny house, it's like chalk and cheese.
So you've got the main house here, but you've also got the second trailer.
Yeah, the second trailer we actually purchased deliberately because when we were building this one, we're living in tents, which is a completely mad idea, which after about 5 months we learned was completely stupid, and we were in probably the windiest part of SA at the time as well. So the interesting thing about the semi-trailers is they're industrial waste, basically. And so they just largely sit out in fields and rot if they aren't, needed anymore. The core house is $5,000 is what we paid for it.
Wow.
And so we thought, well, the tents are miserable. Like, why not just buy another one? And even if it's just something we can turn around and sell for the same amount, not only have we saved money, but we've had this solid roof over our head while we were building this one. So yeah, that ended up being just an easy sell, and it made all the difference being able to be in that one as well.
Yeah.
So it's actually going to be half guest space and also a studio. I can do my sewing in there, and then also storage and a bit of a workspace for Mike.
Great. And so what size is the home?
So it's 32 square meter sort of floor space. So it's 13 meters long by 2.5 meters wide by 2.7 high. So
yeah, that's a great amount of space to play with, eh?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And this is such an idyllic parking spot that you've found for the home as well. It's about as good as it gets, surrounded by all the beautiful vineyards.
Yeah, it was a really lucky find. So Mike just put out a bit of an advert on a local Facebook page, and yeah, our hosts said, yeah, we've got a spot for you.
The positioning was already kind of set for us. There was already the base here for us to park on and so on. But yeah, like Heidi said, as soon as we drove in here and we saw the expansive view and so on, it was like, oh yeah, it's pretty much an easy sell.
Ticks all the boxes.
Well, the house just looks so good from the outside, and I cannot wait to see what you've done on the interior. Can we take a look?
Yeah, come on
It'll be
up.
our pleasure.
All right, thank you. Wow, this is beautifully done. And from the outside, I never would have expected it to feel this spacious in here.
A big part of the design was kind of to keep it really light and airy as well, with the white paint and, the styling and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's a world difference from where it started, and probably why a lot of people were a bit skeptical when we were talking about building in a semi-trailer, because they probably can imagine how dark and nasty it is inside.
And the other thing about it as well is how high the ceiling is.
Yeah, it's not the original height. This is actually a drop ceilings, and of course we've also built up the floor. But yeah, still that natural height really gives it kind of that airiness as well. We did insulate it. It's actually structurally insulated panels that create this kind of span.
And of course, stepping into your home, immediately we are in this lovely looking lounge, which takes advantage of the big doors here and the lovely views through the windows behind there.
Yeah, the whole idea is that we'll be able to open the doors and walk out onto a deck one day and entertain friends out there. So yeah, it's a great space.
Yeah, very nice. And you've got the Cubic Mini here as well. That is just such a lovely addition. Just makes the space really cozy, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. does.
Yeah. When we were living in a tent before, we had this little stove in the tent, and it was the thing that was kind of keeping us alive through the winter. But it burns so hot, it actually supports enough kind of heat for this kind of space.
Oh, yeah.
And because the semi-trailer is already insulated, this tiny little stove produces enough heat to kind of warm the space sufficiently.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like you've added quite a bit of storage in the lounge as well.
Yeah, in this little space we've got my work nook, so I'm a graphic designer, I work from home. And above that there's lots of storage for different work-related things and my fabric for sewing.
Perfect. And so nice having a little office set up like that as well. It's just so important to be able to build a dedicated space in for that, isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I love also that I can cover it up with the doors and you can walk in and wouldn't even know that it's an office space.
That's the other thing as well, because working from home, you don't always want to have to look at your work, do you?
No, you don't.
It's important to be able to shut it away and not think about it sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Heidi's got a big screen there as well, so we can actually open it up and use it sort of as a TV kind of thing. We've got it on a pull-out kind of mount and so on. And yeah, it was all designed to be kind of multifaceted, multi-purpose.
Yeah, and we also found that when we raised the kitchen to provide extra storage, that in some strange way, the proportions made the room feel wider. So it was really interesting playing with the space in that way.
It's very clever the way that you've done that. And the design in here is really cool as well. It's almost got a bit of a Moroccan vibe.
Yeah, for some reason we were just really drawn to that feel. So we've got some rendered looks going on. But then we also wanted it to just feel light and have a more of a classic feel. So we've also got the tug and groove painted white to bring lightness to the place.
I mean, we're kind of close to the beach and so on, so there's a little bit of a kind of beachy cottage kind of feel to it. And we've traveled a bit and, we kind of wanted to add something that had a little bit of a different spin to it, I guess. And there's even kind of a nod to our interest in sort of cob or straw bale building and so on. So you'll see little nooks and rounded walls and stuff like that. So that kind of carries that theme through.
I think adding those character elements in a build like this is just so clever as well, because it takes what is otherwise a very square box and it just adds so much character to the space.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we can take advantage of the maximum kind of boxiness of the space and kind of fill it in with like things that change the shape. And that's kind of why when you look around, we've added levels, we've added doors that kind of are out of line with each other, spaces that look like you can see deeper and deeper and deeper into the house. Yeah. And we wanted that kind of sense of size to really come through.
And over there we've got your bathroom. Can we take a look at that?
Yeah, let's go.
This is brilliantly done. I don't think I've ever seen a bathroom like this in a tiny house before.
Yeah, it's a bit of an interesting kind of journey with the bathroom. It's definitely been a bit of a contentious thing for us in terms of how the space gets used and so on. But basically, we just thought if we kind of delineated the areas. I've never personally liked glass. I've never liked shower curtains and all that kind of stuff. So just wanted to have this kind of natural, open kind of space. That's how it's kind of ended up the way it is.
Yeah. And the way that you've designed this space as well, it's just beautiful. It does almost have that kind of resort spa feel, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was definitely kind of a design goal, I guess, to give it that sanctuary kind of space where, rather than it just being a total practical utilitarian space, we can go in, you've got the beautiful light coming in from the skylight. We've given it this kind of rendered wall look, so it kind of has an earthy, organic feel. And so when you're in there, you feel like, this is actually a really beautiful shower experience that I'm having. And that's why we added the tiles and different textures. And yeah, it's just kind of, I think, all around kind of giving you a positive other space to kind of enjoy in the house.
Absolutely. And what's behind the door at the end there?
So that's where we've got our washing machine and some extra storage. Yeah, we just wanted to be able to just hide it all away so you don't know it's actually there.
Good idea. And what about the fold-down table there?
Yeah, we needed somewhere to put our clothes before and after the shower, so Mike's custom made this great little shelf that folds out and down. Works really well.
It's a bit of an origami kind of thing. It was a bit of a strange little experiment in a way. I wanted to make it without kind of using screws and nails and stuff like that. So it's kind of using that Japanese kind of thing with dowels and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a unique piece. It's kind of squeaky and doesn't work quite right, but it looks good.
How cool. What a good idea. And now can we check out your kitchen?
Yes, let's do it.
Alrighty. Again, this is really nicely done. And it is nice stepping up into the kitchen as well, because it does just create this sort of feeling of moving into a different zone of the home.
Yeah, I think that was exactly the kind of the thinking that we had. Sometimes you feel like, everything's in the same space, kind of sharing the lounge rooms, like butt up right against the kitchen, and they kind of bleed into each other. And we kind of like that sort of delineation of spaces kind of thing. One of the main reasons as well to lift it up was to take advantage of all this kind of floor space as storage. I think I worked out there's about 3 cubic meters of extra storage created just by, lifting up the floor by a foot. So yeah, this whole area, everything we're on top of right now is all under floor kind of drawers and stuff like that for storage.
That's such a good way of doing it. And then the kitchen itself looks super functional as well. You've got a lot of prep space, and it's lovely having this breakfast bar here as well.
Yeah, we love to open up the windows in really nice weather and just look out on beautiful setting, and yeah, it's great.
Yeah, like you say, there's tons of prep space. Like, it's not a huge kitchen. We're not super foodies or anything like that. So we knew we didn't need a massive commercial kitchen or anything like that. We know from living in kind of apartments and stuff like that, that you usually get about this much space. So by having this breakfast bar, it just meant that we could really spread out if we needed to.
And then what are the 2 doors there above the counter?
That was kind of one of those non-negotiable type things for me. I hate taking out the trash kind of thing. So one's a recycle and one's a rubbish bin. So basically there's 2 shafts. They go from each of these doors down to their respective bins. And so you just have to, move the bin up to the curbside when it needs to go. But other than that, you just throw it and forget it kind of thing.
Brilliant. And you've got an abundance of kitchen storage in here as well. All of these cupboards, the big pantry behind you.
Yeah, that was one thing that I was quite pleased with how it turned out. I'd done a little bit of work in a cabinet maker. And so I was able to kind of do these shaker style doors and stuff like that, and have it all come together quite well, which I was quite pleased with.
Yeah.
And then we've got this pantry space. We've designed the door with this kind of laser cut lattice that kind of has that Moroccan inspired thing again. And then inside the pantry we just got like a ton of space. It's great to have that space that really takes advantage of getting rid of a whole bunch of stuff out of sight.
And we thought really carefully about what we own and what we might want to own, and just basically what was going to go in every cupboard and every drawer to make sure that we were really using space as best as possible.
Yeah. You've camouflaged your dishwasher well here.
The choice of dishwasher was the reason for having this particular one, because it came with this customizable panel. So it was nice to kind of be able to hide the utilitarian kind of nature of things like dishwashers.
What about an oven? Do you have one of those hiding in here too?
We do. We have a little air fryer that does a number of things, and that's just behind those 2 doors under the stove there. And yeah, it's nice to keep that hidden away as well.
And now through there must be the bedroom. Can we take a look at that?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Wow, this is cool. Love the feature wall.
Yeah, that's sort of carrying on with that kind of idea of the Moroccan and the hand kind of hewn kind of feel and so on. So we wanted something that was a bit different.
Absolutely. And this mechanism that you built for the bed is something really clever. Can you tell me how this works?
Yeah, so we could have gone sort of down the Murphy bed kind of route, but again, to sort of allow us to have this feature thing, and we've also got like a table that folds out in here. We thought it'd be easier if the bed could just get out of the way kind of thing. And yeah, so I kind of was really fascinated by this idea of the elevator bed. So basically this bed, it just works on a complete counterbalance system. So the weight of the bed is counterbalanced by a unit of weights that's behind this wall on the outside of the house. And you've got all this kind of floor space that you can do whatever you want with.
Brilliant. What a good idea. So when the bed is fully moved up, how do you use the space then?
So yeah, we can roll out a mat, Heidi's done her yoga or stretching type things, or I've got like a VR kind of thing, and I can play a little bit of gaming in here. But I've also built this table that folds out, and it's actually in 2 parts. So it can be a small table that I can set up quickly as a kind of a workspace, like a desk. And there's a leaf that brings out it even further, and we've had like a couple of dinner party type things where we can transform this whole room into an actual sort of dining room. When the bed is up, there's actually a hatch there that I've created so I can hang like a pendant light. So it kind of fills out the whole dining experience.
That's so clever. And it really has made the room just so versatile.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you've used the ceiling space up here as well to build in some additional storage.
Yes, we really wanted to use the space as well as we could. And we've actually counted in this room that there's 27 different drawers or cupboards
No
to hold
way.
stuff. Yeah,
Wow. So no excuse to not have somewhere to hide something away then.
that's
right.
it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And it's one of the things that I think contributes to this home just feeling so spacious and harmonious and uncluttered is the fact that you've thought through all of your storage solutions so comprehensively.
Yeah, we just wanted to make sure that the space would really work for us.
Yeah, great. And it's good to have the other door in here as well.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted another window on this side, and we do plan to have that deck that connects the whole thing. It'll connect the front door, this door, and go straight over to the second trailer. So we'll literally just be able to walk out here and, you know, pop in there if we need to. So yeah, it's super handy and just provides like a ton of light. And yeah, as you can see out the window here, the tree is right next to the glass. And it's fantastic when you can lie in bed and you can actually see like birds kind of looking in at you and stuff like that. It just has a really kind of nice magical feel to it.
Yeah.
It's the treetops.
Lovely. And so how long have you been living here now?
Yeah, so we've been here about 18 months. We've gone through all the seasons so far, so we've kind of, know what we're up against here. And yeah, really happy with the space.
Fantastic. And there is a lot of interesting stuff that's been built into this home. As a DIY project, this must have been a real challenge.
Yes, challenge would be a good word. I think definitely because, it was a first time build for me. And, to be perfectly honest, I was kind of going through a bit of a mental health period, and this was kind of a plus and a minus. Like, The plus was that it gave me a project to get my head stuck into, and the negative was when things went wrong, then it was like meltdown.
Yeah.
But, we worked well together with the design and stuff like that. And Heidi, of course, was always here. I mean, I was largely doing a lot of the work because she was the breadwinner, keeping us going while we were, doing all that. But yeah, we definitely conferred about every single thing, like from the design point of view on the way. I mean, this project took us 3 years really to build it. And I'm glad that, we didn't rush it any further because, we were able to do some time consuming and very particular and pedantic things that, ended up turning out really well the way we wanted them to. It's really a beautiful thing to wake up into a space that you've kind of created, and I think you notice something different about it every day or appreciate a different thing about it every day. And little bite-sized pieces to kind of get to this point really sort of masks over just how much work went into certain things. And so when you kind of look at something and like, wow, how did I create that I can be impressed with my own work, which sounds probably a little not as humble as it should. But yeah, I think we both, even a year and a half in, we're kind of like, oh, this is a really nice space, aren't we? Really, we're really pleased that, we were able to create this.
Yeah, just being able to live in something that you've molded to fit how you live, what your lifestyle is like. And I've never lived in a place actually that's probably so light-filled and also warm. It's well insulated. So yeah, loving it.
Can we talk about the cost that was involved in bringing this home to life?
Yeah, so we did all the labor obviously ourselves, except for plumbing and the tiling, probably around the 110,000 kind of mark.
It's a great result. So now the build is finished and you're well settled in. What does the future hold for you both now?
Well, yeah, we're keen to keep working on the second one and create that guest space. Also really excited that at the end of that, there's going to be a bathroom with a bath that looks out at this amazing view.
Oh, yeah.
And just getting involved more in the local community. We've got some great friends down here. We're part of some different groups like a drumming group and meditation group and great local farmers markets. So yeah, just looking forward to building more community with people here.
Fantastic. Well, this is such a beautiful home that you've created for yourselves. I love all of the really creative elements. I love the design. I love all of the neat little features that you've built into this home. And I can see how much hard work you both poured into making this space a reality. Thank you so much for sharing it with me.
Thanks, Bryce.
Yeah, we really appreciate being able to share it with you.
It's awesome to be here. What Mike and Heidi have created here is something incredibly special. This took them 3 years to build, and I can honestly see why. There is so much that has been poured into this home. Each and every inch of this space just has a different clever design element or a different stylistic flair. And it's all just come together so harmoniously to create a home that is not only ultra functional, but also ultra beautiful, ultra clever, ultra creative. So much of themselves has been poured into this home, and the result is nothing short of remarkable.